guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of The Fishing Teacher, and I really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check out today's episode. Guys, today I want to talk about what is the best cover to fish bass for. As far as if you can find this type of cover in the lake that you're fishing, this is going to be the best type of cover for fish to live in. And there's actually two different types of cover. This is going to be dependent upon your lake. So there's two types of lakes as far as how they're laid out, but I want to give you guys the best type of cover in those two lakes. And 99% of the time, the lake that you fish the most is going to have some of this cover into it. So we're going to get into that in today's episode here. Also, guys, to get started, a quick reminder that we do have my winter Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns up on the fishthemoment.com website. These are maps I've built for fishthemoment.com. Got them for all 4 seasons of the year, but right now we got our winter maps up on there. So if you're looking to find some good places on your favorite lake to fish this winter, I got maps for all the lakes across the country. I'll put the fishthemoment.com website and the link in the description to my breakdowns if you guys would like to check them out. And also, guys, a quick reminder that Tackle Warehouse has still got that big Black Friday sale going on for the next 2 weeks. If you're interested in getting 25% off on anything Tackle Warehouse has, I'll have my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video, and using that link's a great way to support the channel here, and really appreciate that. And finally, guys, thank you for everybody that has hit that subscribe button here to The Fishing Teacher. Really appreciate that. It helps the channel out a lot. Okay, guys, bass are super adaptable, and they can live in about any condition, guys. They can live on lakes where there's zero cover, and they have preferred cover. And one of the things that makes a bass fishery really good is to have the appropriate type of cover, because the cover not only provides bass an ambush point and sort of a safe area, but it also provides cover for other bait fish and prey that the fish have. Habitat is super critical for the long-term sustainability of a fishery to support a big population of bass. Okay, there's two types of cover in lakes that are going to be the best cover to fish in. Now, the first cover is, if you have it in the lake that you're fishing, aquatic submerged vegetation is the #1 bass habitat above anything else on any lake in the world. So if you have a lake that has submerged hydrilla or submerged milfoil or some type of submergent grass, depending upon what part of the country you're in, there's different variations of grass. But any type of aquatic vegetation that grows on the bottom, that comes up off the bottom within 6 inches to even matted to the surface, is the #1 habitat for bass. And a couple different techniques that I like to fish with you guys on this, I'll sort of share it with you. Depends on the stage of the grass. And the stage of the grass depends on the water temperature, because normally in the cooler months, the grass will die off, it'll quit growing, and the vegetation grows shorter off the bottom. And as it warms up, it grows closer to the surface, and a lot of times it'll mat on the surface. If you're fishing submergent vegetation, like in the coldest period of the year where the vegetation is actually shortest off the bottom, #1 bait by far is a chatterbait. Guys, I just like to slow roll a chatterbait over the top of that aquatic vegetation. It's deadly on about any lake you go to. Another bait that works really good on that is a lipless crankbait. That's been popular forever. That's been popular for decades. Lipless crankbait works really good in the pre-spawn time of the year, as does the chatterbait. But the chatterbait it's very difficult to beat a chatterbait in a lot of situations. Now, if you have deeper aquatic vegetation, let's say, for example, the water's 6 or 8 foot deep, and the vegetation's growing a foot or 2 off the bottom, I've caught a bunch of them on a jerkbait. Jerkbait can be really good over the top of that vegetation. Now, as it gets higher to the surface, let's say, for example, it gets close to the surface, maybe it's a foot or 2 below the surface, but it's not matted on the surface, chatterbait will continue to work really good. That's a really good bait for it. And also a swim jig. Fishing a swim jig over the top of that submergent grass can be really good. Now, once it gets matted on the top, depending upon the type of vegetation and the density of it, it's usually going to be some type of flipping and pitching or a frog bite. So if you have holes in the vegetation and it's a little bit sparser, but it's still matted, throwing a frog over the top of it's going to be really good. But if it's actually matted where there's small holes or maybe no holes at all, punching, like a creature bait on a 1 ounce weight is going to be the way to do it. So that's That's sort of a very broad, very simplified approach to fishing aquatic vegetation, which is the best cover in a lake. Okay, the next best cover, if you're fishing a lake that does not have that type of cover, it is a boat dock. A boat dock is a bass factory. It has everything that the fish need. Most every lake across the country has got some type of boat dock, whether it be like a piling type dock like you have, say, on the TVA River Lakes, or maybe like a Lake Norman where there's piers on the docks, or if you have floating docks like in my part of the country here in the Ozarks, or like Lake Lanier in Georgia, something like that. So you have two different types of docks. But regardless, a dock is a tremendous bass, hiding area, because it provides a ton of places for bass to hide. It provides various depth ranges, and it provides shade all the time. And docks will also draw in a lot of other bait fish, because a lot of the algae will gather on boat dock, floats and stuff like that. That brings in, the perch and the minnows to feed on the plankton there. If you've ever walked on any boat dock, you can see a lot of bluegills and perch that hang around the docks and live there, and therefore the bass are there too. So you've got bass, they have food, they have an ambush point, they have shade, they have different depths. If you go up like against the bank of a boat dock where the walkway is, you're going to have water less than 5 foot deep. So you've got that, scenario for the fish. And as you get deeper, the fish can use 5, 10, 15 feet, and they can also suspend out on those docks. So depending upon the water clarity that you have, a bass can either suspend on docks, or they can be down 25 or 30 feet deep. So it doesn't matter if you fish a lake that's dirty and muddy, or if you fish average visibility like 2 to 3 feet, or if you fish a very clear water lake. Docks are excellent bass structures. And docks, one of the reasons that they work so good for a long period of time is there are parts of a dock that you can't get your lure to. And bass know this, and they live in those areas. Like, for example, they will live around the walkway areas in the middle of a dock, where the slips are at. It's impossible to get a bait in there. So those bass live in there, so they have a sanctuary. A lot of the bass that you catch on docks are the bass that just happen to move into the catchable areas of that dock, so they can move back and forth, escape, danger, they can feed. It's just a superior bass cover. So anyway, guys, quick video, man. If you go to any lake across the country, those are the two best places to fish, are boat docks and submergent vegetation. Never pass them up if you can find them, because they always hold fish. So hope it helps you guys out. We'll talk later.